I can. You can get a lot more power. Yeah. But that's another reason why when I pin, I come here. But show him exactly what you were talking about, grabbing that and pulling
Yeah,
up.
that's what I was saying. Just pulling that ankle, ripping that ankle.
Yeah. They can just grab it and
Go ahead and pull it.
you can do a toe hold with it.
Pull it.
Okay, so
Well, I
even
could come this way
there you go.
and do this one.
That's what you want to do.
Go ahead and show it. No, wait,
You don't even
touch my shoes.
My first thing is just to break it.
Undo it.
Once you break it, you're nullifying the grip and you're getting away out. You can start spinning.
Yep.
You can turn into it, Jason. Start turning into it. He's still improving his position though. He's not.
He did. He did. Now what I want to do is just
Bounce him off the floor, Jason. You had him up off the ground like
Yeah.
When you grapevine though and put your hooks in lower, they can't reach it. That's the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. If you straighten and arch your back. Yeah.
That's why I like doing that. I mean, like I said, I had a guy who knew what he was doing, and I was I let him do everything because I thought my ankle snapped.
So guys, the bottom line is to survive. I mean, because again, this is not jiu-jitsu. That's something that.
Now Johnny Walker might be able to do it. He got some legs.
I can grapevine. I used to grapevine
No,
a
I'm talking
lot.
about a body training.
Oh yeah.
See if you can.
Never get to, all I'm saying is never get to a point where you say, never do that. I just don't want that.
We used to use grapevine. Double grapevine was illegal, but single grapevine, because you're talking about stretching the body out. Now.
Well,
You can hurt them.
oh, I know, I did. I actually lock into both legs, straighten them out. Yeah.
So you put a seatbelt her, put in the seatbelt, seatbelt and go across the collar. Now, you kind of rotate, you want to bring this leg around here. You want to try and get to where this is across and this is over there.
You need to go sideways.
Yes.
Johnny, you need to go to the side.
Yes. You need this to be up here though.
Well, he's got a belt.
Okay.
What does he say?
In East Tennessee, you get body trainers.
So no, guys, listen.
more skinnier things.
Again, I don't want to sound like I'm biased or anything else, but when someone like James comes in who is professional at what he does, what he's saying is actually true, 110%. If you lock, he has through experience had people grab his feet and crank his ankles, okay? But please understand where we're coming from a tactical standpoint of view. This is not jiu-jitsu. This is not competitive ground fighting, okay? What this is and what we're doing is tactical. That means if you're on the ground, you're going to get back up as soon as possible. Therefore, you have to up your ante when you're on the ground. You have to up your game when you're on the ground. Am I going to completely lock him in like that a lot? Well, probably not, because you don't know how many friends he has around. Okay, but if you do have to, if totality of circumstances dictate that the atmosphere is where you're trying to subdue the individual, passive aggressive, then you will learn to use these mounts and things like this. But as a professional, you need to know when to apply and when not to. Okay? I know that if I ground fight him, it's going to be a different story as if I'm ground fighting one of these guys. He's had that training. So am I going to fight the same way? Most likely not. It's called the 1+1 theory. His aggression's here. I will meet his aggression. I'll rise to that aggression plus 1. Okay, in the fight, especially in ground fighting, you're going to find yourself manipulating your body in such contortions that you didn't even think, first off, you could do. Secondly, you won't even know you're there because you're in transition to go to something else, which you're giving your opponent an opportunity to see something that you don't know you're doing to maximize his ability and potential to win the fight. So as me and him were scruffing, all I was wanting to do was subdue him to wear him down. I know that you have to breathe. I locked him in with an anaconda. I crossed my ankles. I squeezed, and I got his attention elsewhere. I started cranking his neck. Normal people who are not trained are going to freak out. Especially when you get them into a more of a head choke or head bar. You don't even have to choke them. They're already going to start freaking out. Okay? They've seen UFC. You know?
The seat belt's extremely constricting.
Absolutely.
Chest.
Yes. Absolutely. But all I'm doing, and guys, if I lock him there, do you think I'm going to stay there? Well, if it's working, yes. But if he does something like he was saying, grabbing your foot, guys, you better move quick. Move quick. Again, eye gouge is not allowed in sports jiu-jitsu. Banging their head off the concrete is not allowed in sports jiu-jitsu.
We're not in sports jiu-jitsu.
That's exactly my point. But that doesn't take away the fact what he said is true. Because one day you might run into somebody who knows exactly what they're doing on the ground. And when you lock up and you think you have control, you better be very... He'll persuade you to think otherwise. I'll just say that. He'll pursue to do what he needs to do to get up. Because even though these guys in sports jiu-jitsu don't think for a second that they can't go lethal too, they know what's on the mat, and then they know what's not on the mat. So don't take that either. I'm just saying training-wise. I don't want to restrict you, guys, by any means. I don't want to restrict you. If it's working, do it. But guess what? Even if something's starting to work, doesn't mean it'll complete the job. Because why? He's living. He's thinking.
That's right.
This is not a mat. This is not a dummy. He's going to be squirming. He's going to be moving. And that lock, just like he says, if he went for my ankle and started grabbing that thing, I'm going to, you guess what? It happens all the time, even in sports jiu-jitsu. When you think you have a lock, they squeeze out of it and maneuver. It doesn't work. You have to stop, shift, work them out, and get to another position where you can capitalize, grab the joint, and then snap it if you have to. Nothing works the way you think. If you can't get a triangle, me personally, if I can't get a triangle, I'm still going to lock him because I want to control him. Maybe I should arch my back a little more to get my feet a little further away from his grab, because if I had him here and I had him here and I straighten my back out, that straightens him out, which is less of a chance for him to grab. But as he's grabbing, he's using what? More energy. And if he's starting to grab and he's starting to freak out, guess what? Hold it. But guys, you can't always do that. As I said, fatality of circumstances is going to dictate what you will or will not do. And normally when you get on the ground, you want to get back up ASAP.
But if you do get them in that, you got to remember you've got people coming
Yeah.
to your to your assistance.
Totality is what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Totality meaning in this building, you have somebody on the way. I'm talking in general, but yeah, again, that goes back to what I was saying. Totality will dictate what you will or will not do. When you're in the sanctuary, absolutely hold them down, okay? But that's another thing, guys. Guys, listen, this is just basic.
About everybody.
Yeah, guys, listen, this is just basic. First thing we've got to do is learn how to stay in an interview position and maneuver and keep them out of having to go to the guard or having to go to side mounts or having to use any mounts. But then after they get past our interview position, then we have to learn how to manipulate our mounts. We're not into the point yet where I'm pulling a knife out while we're scrimmaging. Right. We're not at that point yet. We're not ready for that yet. Because if I do that, you'll die every time. How's that encouraging? I saw last time that we got together when you guys left, I contacted Brian and Jason. I was like, guys, could you do me a favor and send out a letter of encouragement to the security operators? Because this is going to be the most discouraging time, is when you first start off. This is going to be the most discouraging time. Yeah, I can't get it. I didn't understand a word we were doing. That's why I'm saying when you guys come in early, work on the 8 basic weapons of the human anatomy. And I want to go ahead and get into the ground control tactics, because we're getting some mats. They're coming soon. So when you guys, I'd like you guys to come a little early. So some of them will be over here working edge weapon stuff. Some people over here are working on body dynamics and moving. Some people will be over here working ground control tactics. Some people over here working on the 4-pound draw and moving. That's what we need to be doing every time you come in. Of course, until the pizza gets here. Or yeah. That's what I want you guys to do. I want you guys to be proactive whenever you come in. When you come in, have your head on. We're here for a reason, to learn, to be better. We are the mighty men and women now of this church, as David had. You are the mighty men and women of this church. So when you come here, you don't forget that. Okay? We are here to laugh. We're here to have a good time, slap hands, but we're here to challenge each other. We're here to challenge and each other, push each other. Okay? Please have that in your heads when you get here. We're not here to fight each other. We're not here to hurt each other. We're here to promote each other, like he was doing for me. When he first said that, guys, I'll tell you the truth. I'll be like, no, sorry, James. I want to do it because it works. Right out of the gate, I started to, again, personality-wise, I started to shut James down in my head. No, James, do you see what happened? Did he grab it? No. That made all the difference. He didn't grab it. But that's not what James is trying to do. James has been in a position, as we all have been in different positions, and all of us have to drop the ego and listen. Why? Because it did happen to him, and it hurt like hell. So he's wanting to do the best he can to make sure that you guys protect yourself as much as possible. But you guys have to know, this is okay the way I did it. Why? Because it ended up working. And in combat, you do what ends up working. But you also have to be able to switch gears in a moment's notice. When you go against a professional, and all of a sudden he goes, and you're like, ah! You know, now what? But that's why we're here. Because if I did that to him, I wouldn't do the same as I did to him. Because why? Because he'll show me why not to, at least with him. You know, and that's when I have to what? I have to change things. I have to alter things. Even if it gives him a better position, then I have to work that position. That's combat. Okay? But listen, open your ears, open your minds up to everybody. Fight that human tendency to shut people out. It happens. It did for me too. I was like, James, proof's in the pudding. But that doesn't mean what he was telling me is not true. What works on one person doesn't mean it'll work on the next. Do whatever it takes to survive and to win the battle. Because the enemy will let you know if something's wrong. Amen. It'll be like, because again, guys, he didn't eye gouge either. I'm sure if we were in a fight, he would be doing a hell of a lot more.
We're
Okay?
just learning.
We're just learning the basics, and we're just feeling each other out.
And it's okay to get beat in here.
Amen.
But
Well,
that's
I don't
what,
want to hurt somebody.
Well, we're not.
I
this-
don't want anybody to hurt me.
but this
That's
is what I
that's
love.
what this is for.
But that's what I love about being in here
We're all afraid of her anyway.
and being able to be with these guys like James and Brian and Chad. These guys, you're not going to run into people like that all the time. That's what I was talking to Brian about. You know, I've been doing the job for 23 years, and I've never run into anybody like these three here, but that doesn't mean it won't happen to me tomorrow.
Right.
So it's okay to get beat in here. I don't care that he about made me stop breathing, because you know what? All I had to do was, and guess what? I get to start breathing again. So but that's how you learn. And it's good. It's great.
And when that's what I was saying. And when you go up against guys who are more skilled, they'll let you know that, hey, just because it worked over there, now you got to think twice. It ain't working. Now what? And that's why we're here. Now what?
But their mindset's different than ours, you know, like James and Brian and Chad. Everybody is able to fight like them.
Defensive tactics and drill is just this. I will be here against him, and I will let him, not fast, people, not fast. You guys are not ready to go fast. There's steps in the process. Slow, smooth, fast, power. Slow, smooth, fast, then power. So even when we're doing defensive tactics and drills and we're doing a disarming tactic, I want him to go slow. Show me what you would do. Go ahead.
I guess a master chair here, a good chair here.
That's right. You have. That's the tell your circumstances. Now what? Now again, I'm not going to fight. Go slow.
Okay.
Go slow. I'm not going to fight him yet. Okay. Now what?
Shot Johnny.
Now what? Now, okay, that's what I was talking about. Because when we're ground fighting, and I lock him in like I did him, he's going to go, now what? And then you have to think, now what? He threw an elbow. Now what? That's how we build ourselves as warriors. That's how we build the efficiency of defensive tactics and drills. This is warrior science. Now, if he did that fast, do you think he would have done everything he did?
No.
Probably not, because he wouldn't see it. All right, go ahead and move fast. I can do that all day. That's not the point. I could have shot you. I could have. We're figuring it out. We're figuring it out. Guys, I'm not going to be cruel to you. I'm not just going to be like, hey, man, what's up? Go ahead, do something. You're dead, stupid. Come on. We don't learn like that. You have to go slow whenever you're ready, slow. Whenever you're ready. Now what I can do as an instructor is this. Come behind. Because this acts more of a hook. Because what did I do initially? I pulled back, right? So if he grabs this way, this is great, but you better have a good grasp. Because I'm going to try to yank it. Now, if he has a good bear grasp, like I know he can, then that's what he has to work on the next time he does it. Or if he doesn't want to do that, as he moves me here, this hand is going to come up underneath, and now he has double security. This is warrior science. This is where it's at.
But you could be a lot stronger than he is.
Yeah, but still, the whole point is, what did I do when he went fast?
You pulled it
I
back.
pulled back, right? Why? Because his initial grip wasn't there. But now, as we do it slow, he realized this, hold me, just like a bear. Now I'm going to try to think, yeah, he's already having full control. I cannot no longer pull like I did initially. Okay? Because here's the hinge point. Guys, this warrior science means physics. Physics. The further you are from the hinge point, the more torque ability you have, like a breaker bar. Right? It's like a breaker bar. Now he's stopped the firing cycle, so if I did get a shot off, the gun's dead. It's done. Okay? And he has my wrist at the joint, at where it hinges, and now since he's all the way furthest away, he can manipulate this thing however he wants. And he has full seize and control. We have to go slow, ladies and gentlemen. We have to. That's the only way we can build true success in our techniques and confidence in what we're doing. Because you really think that he would have the confidence, I'm like here, and he goes ahead and grabs it. Go ahead.
Like the wrist or the gun?
No, go fast. Whatever you wanted to do.
Okay.
Pop, 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 pop. Here we are again. How discouraging is that? How discouraging is that? That's not why we're here. We will do that occasionally just to test you, to see if you're paying attention. Because I love doing that to people who think they know what they're doing. I love doing that. But guys, I still get shot. I got scars where I've been shot by simulators and everything. I still get shot and cut. But just like he was saying, this is where you want it to happen. This is where you don't. This is where you want it to happen, where you lost control of the gun and I just plugged you about 3 times in the gut. This is when he goes, okay, how am I going to not let that happen again? Let's do it again. Brian, if you wouldn't mind, let's slow down. Let me think of this. Blade, evade, deflect, block, combat compass, 8 basic weapons of human anatomy, point of impact planes. This is where all of it will come together, and before you know it, it's going to make sense. It's going to make sense. Because I guarantee you later on, as he does move this thing, even if I start to back up, he's going to most likely, come around that chair so you don't break it again, he's going to most likely jam this into my body. At least it's not what? At least his muzzle's not pointing toward him.
Right.
And then he loves this part. He'll use that, he'll use that, exactly right. Guys, step on his toe. Step on my toe. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. And now he's pinned this against me, and if I try to go back like I did before, like when I pulled the gun back, I got distance. Reactionary gap in time, ding, ding, ding. Does that ring a bell? He steps on my foot. Can I go back now? Get away from him. Yeah. And then ground comes in, baby. It all will make sense. Please have faith. Please have faith in what we're doing. Because as soon as you think you're better, or as soon as you think you got it, you're going to get punched in the face. That's why I call it reality-based. Because reality bites. Reality sucks. Okay? Did I have everyone's attention? Let's go talk for a little bit. Assets at the risk of your life. Okay? You guys are not just typical security guards. Get that out of your head. Get it out of your head. Because a lot of people don't look at themselves as very important when they only think of themselves as a rent-a-cop or something like that. You guys are not. All right? You guys are going to be trained as actual protective detail operators, executive protection agents, not just people with shades on. That's not what we're here. Avenue Church Protective Detail Training. You guys are part of the detail. As I said, we've already ran through the basic handgun course. So I got to know you guys a little better. You guys got to know me a little better. We went through threat assessment, intervention, and management. I got to know you guys. You guys got to know me a little better. So now what we're doing is we're getting back on the PowerPoint that I originally created for you guys. So we all need to get back on the same page. This is it. This slide, this PowerPoint right now is approaching 400 slides. Yeah! But let me tell you something. It doesn't leave anything out. I have medic in here, but only the title pages. Because if I put all the medical training you guys are getting in, well, I'd already be close to about maybe 600 slides. Fun. So this course was combined with the help of Bruce Siddle's PPCT manual, Grossman's work on combat, TCA codes, and combined instructors of reality-based tactical. It's not just me. I pretty much architected reality-based tactical, but let me tell you something. The men and women who I've trained with, like yourselves, you guys are the ones that actually built it. Why? Did you not see just what happened today? James said, don't do this because of that. That's how this program has gotten to be so good. That's how it's gotten to be so good. It's not because I said, no, I'm just going to do whatever I want. You do whatever it takes to survive, yes, but never put out those professionals who come in and say, heads up. That's what makes you great. That's what's made this great, not me. It's people like every one of you guys, because every one of you guys are bringing in something. Every one of you guys are bringing in some type of incident that's happened, or you've seen one. This is where we'll siphon it out. Okay. Also, it's backed by literature and been acceptable by medical and legal sources. Okay? So again, it's not me. I like to take full credit. No. Again, you're responsible for knowing and keeping up with the laws and pertaining to all the individual responsibilities, okay, of your position. You're responsible, ladies and gentlemen, not me. Okay? Here's a lot of what we're going to be going over. It's a lot, so brace yourself. We give you these information packets so you guys can refresh yourself if you're at the house in the recliner. Instead of watching TV, the same rerun, run over this stuff. Run over this stuff. If you find a nice quiet time, a place in a hammock, run over it because we're going to be going through it every time you're back here. And if you don't go through this stuff, guys, when you're on your own, we're not going to progress. We're not going to get better. We're not going to see the beautiful rings of Saturn if you're stuck on planet Earth. That's just the way it is. So show some type of initiative, not only for yourself, but your teammates. So we can prosper and keep going with our training and become better individuals as well. Okay? Performance evaluations have already been done. We don't have to worry about that too much. We're going to talk about combat mindset, mental awareness. We already talked a little bit about this, so I'm going to speed through some of this since we've already gone over. We've already gone over verbal judo. Control principles. I'm still working in some of that, so this one here is still void. Firearm handling and tactics. Guys, firearm handling and tactics in this, we got it all the way to where we're doing advanced work. We have the basic handgun course in here, we have the intermediate course in here, we have the advanced course in here. All of it is combined, where we're going to be working low light operations using your illuminants. We're going to be doing teamwork. We're going to be doing team communications, clearing hallways, clearing staircases, clearing rooms. All this stuff is already in. It's already in here. Okay? It's all ready to go. Edge weapon handling and tactics. I already got the basics put in. This is the newest one I just sent Jason and Brian. I just implemented the edge weapons handling and tactics this past week. Okay? Physical electronic security, joint manipulations, pressure points, and escorting techniques. I'm going to use my law enforcement and jiu-jitsu practitioners a lot in that one. Okay, because I look forward to shaping that one up to be better. Defensive tactics and drills, guys, is something we will always do every time we're here. We're going to have a 1 hour of lecture, and then we're always going to go back to defensive tactics and drills. Okay? I'll show you this here because we will be using that today. I have multiple lists of hand against hand, hand against knife, hand against gun, knife against knife, gun against gun. We're going to be doing all that. That's all in defensive tactics and drills. Okay? Disarms against improvised weapons. Also disarming against other, again, back up to defensive tactics and drills. We're going to be disarming as well when it comes to knives and guns. Threat assessment and intervention management, we've already done it. Hey, so we can skip that one. We might come back once in a while and talk about it. Risk and crisis management, survival, bomb, and bomb incident management. We got a lot. Okay? But a lot of it falls into risk and crisis management and survival. But guys, if you don't work on yourself, you become a part of the crisis. You become a part of the crisis. You don't become to resolve the crisis. Do you understand that? Okay? Do the best you can to stay awake here. I'll have James show you a little more ground control stuff. James, make a tap. Just to wake him up. I'm not saying hurt him. Let him breathe a little bit. Let him, or not. Okay? So, let's look at this. The protector and their role. Who is the protector? You guys. You guys are the protector. Somebody read this first bullet. I don't care. Someone read it.
Who are these people who are willing to risk themselves for the safety and well-being of others?
Somebody take the next bullet.
We call them sheepdogs, the ones that protect the flock. They say that 98% of society are labeled sheep, 1% is labeled the wolf, and the last 1% is labeled the sheepdog. The sheepdog is the one that protects the sheep from the wolf, but it takes a good amount of diverse and consistent training for an individual to obtain that status and mindset.
Now, just because you're a sheepdog, does that make you any higher than the sheep?
No.
No. We are all in a place in society for a reason. Okay? I like to use the slang, we the sheep of the United States. I use that in a derogatory way. I am human, sorry. But in this perspective, the sheep are the ones that you're protecting. A lot of times it is those people who are naive and think nothing bad is going to happen to them. They live in and out, day in, day out, thinking that this world's, beautiful rainbows and stuff, and violence happens to somebody else or somewhere else, not to them, and not in their neighborhood, and definitely not in their home. They're out there, okay? You are going to be trained to be the sheepdog. You know better. This is called reasoning. And everything you do here, I want you to reason it out from a reasonable standpoint of view. I don't want your emotions mixed in. When you allow your emotions to get inside of it, it's not going to be good. You can't rationalize. Okay? Read the next bullet point, somebody.
The sheepdog is not a higher level of society. They have their place, and as do the sheep. We all work in society together, completing our jobs with the gifts we have been given. But if and when chaos erupts, the sheep turn to the sheepdog for guidance. Be ready.
Okay? Please, I know right now these are just words on a screen. I need it to be in your heart just like your good book is in your heart. That's a servanthood. Okay? That's all you are, servants. Regardless if you label yourself a sheepdog, law enforcement, soldier, whatever. We're all servants. Okay. Again, a lot of this comes from other sources. What is necessary to combat fear and combat anxiety. So there's conflict anxiety and there's combat anxiety. Okay? So what is it going to take to combat fear, conflict, and combat anxiety? Experience helps. Never forget atmospherics. I told you guys what atmospherics is. It's a combination of everything. If you know your atmospherics, you're definitely ahead of the game. Being mentally ready counts for how much? 75%. This is the Marine Corps. This is not Brian. Okay? Being mentally ready accounts for approximately 75% of all people's ability to survive hostile encounters. You guys seen Lone Survivor? Okay? He's just one of many warriors who've been out there in the field of battle who've been shot up, blown up, and still fighting. Your body is resilient. Your mind, though, can break it. Hopelessness and fear will completely destroy that ability of the body to do amazing things. Okay? The operator must accept the fact and understand this is huge, not only in the physical realm of personal protection, but also in the spiritual realm. Don't single mind and just completely just focus on one thing. This is just security. No, it's not. Get out of that mindset. This goes far beyond the parameters of security. You, as the operator, need to understand that you have to do something every day to help sharpen your skills when it comes to spiritual fitness, psychological fitness, and physical fitness. You have to do something on each one of these. Okay? You have to become stronger. But you also have to accept it and understand what is asked of him or her when it comes down to their duties as part of the security detail. You guys, not only as a moral law of what you follow and what you believe, but also when you guys get together for the job, you guys got to come together as a team to realize and accept what you're supposed to be there for, what your part of the security plan is for the day. That's the only way your communication is going to work. It's the only way you're going to move as a team, one one mind. That's what you guys got to strive for. Okay? One mind, one movement. You guys move as one unit. Okay? Effective. This is the big one, guys. You guys make it what it is. Someone read that fourth one.
Effective and repetitive training builds the confidence and abilities needed to help the officer survive hostile encounters.
So when you do come in, greet each other, hug each other, eat some pizza, get some water, work. Let's get to work. Let's get our minds where they need to be. Why? He just read it. Because through this, you gain this. You will have that mental capacity to be ready for whatever it takes. Why? Because you have the confidence in what you're doing. Do you understand? Because I can get a knife out right now and I'll put each one of you guys against the wall one by one. And I'll ask you if you're ready. I can do that. Because again, this isn't, I'll have to watch myself here. I was about to say something I shouldn't have said. This isn't just something you're going to sit and listen to and blah, 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 because everything you're hearing, I'm going to be testing you. It's going to happen physically. Okay? So when I see this, okay, I'm holding you to it. You understand? Okay. So, the next one, fifth bullet, what is that? Someone read it.
Good tactics and being mentally prepared will, most of the time, override emotions. If one allows his or her emotions to bleed into the equation, the result could be fatal. Let's skim through some of the psychological
And physiological aspects.
of combat conflict.
Okay, we already know this, right? Okay. What's white?
Sunshine and happiness.
Unalert.
Not alert. This is when you're at the house watching your favorite movie on TV and completely oblivious of what's going on around you. For some of us, that rarely ever happens. I'm sure you're rarely ever in the white zone. I don't know about you guys, but whoever's trained a lot, I even know when cars are passing my house. Am I paranoid? No. All right, so what's yellow? Don't look at your papers.
Aware.
Alert.
Alert.
Alert and relaxed. That's right. Alert and relaxed. What's yellow? I mean, orange, sorry.
It's alert and ready.
It's a specific alert.
Alert, but because there's something specific.
Well, and,
Yes, you're alert, and there's something specific. Okay, there's that look. You might have saw a gleam of a blade or something. That's specific. Okay, alert and specific. What's red?
it's on.
It's on.
It's on, baby.
Come on.
Action.
Action Jack.
Never go black or panic. You will help nobody. You get that through your confidence in something we just got done describing. Majority of the body's functions are done subconsciously. Your heart beats. Do you have to think about it? No, it doesn't. Okay? When someone gets scared, what happens to their shoulders?
They go up.
That's why we use it. Okay? The beating of the heart, like I was talking about. The anatomic nervous system is broken down into two branches, parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. We've already talked about some of that stuff, yeah? What does the sympathetic nervous system do, except for the nurses and medic? What does the sympathetic nervous system do? Come on, warriors. This is major, because I'm telling you something. You know what's going to stop you from performing? Your sympathetic nervous system.
Fight or flight.
It is a fight or flight response. The sympathetic nervous system is what controls the sympathetic nervous system? Your brain. Your central nervous system, right? But what does that have direct links to?
Your heart.
Who's been scared before? What happens to your heart? It's pumping. It's ready to go. It's getting the endorphins into your bloodstream. It's getting you ready to fight, or it's getting you ready to run. Yeah? How do we control it? Training.
Breathing.
Breathing. Because through training we gain what?
Knowledge.
Confidence.
Ability.
Knowledge. Ability. Through confidence. Guys, we just got done describing it way at the beginning, yeah? It's your mindset. You have the confidence. You have to breathe. All right, I'm going to keep telling you guys when we get into stress drills. Breathe when we're on the ground and we're moving. Breathe. Talk. Grunt. Do something that makes the air leave the lungs and you have to suck some more back in. Because, guys, without oxygen, your brain goes. Without oxygen, your muscles go. All right, so you got to breathe. Got to breathe. And that will slow down your heart rate. That will help your sympathetic nervous system. Parasympathetic nervous system is what happens when everything is done. Depends on how long you've been in the sympathetic nervous system, how long you've been at the heightened aware, and how much you've been in combat, is how hard the parasympathetic is going to come back in. This parasympathetic, when it comes in, you're shut down. You need to recharge. You need to rebuild. Okay? Okay, I'm not going to go over the heart rate. We already talked about that, right? Okay, combat anxiety. Survival stress reaction to combat stress. What are these? Anybody know what combat anxiety is?
PTSD.
It's like when you're anticipating there's going to be danger.
Combat anxiety can be multiple things. Combat anxiety can be multiple things. A lot of it is what causes PTSD is hopelessness. One of the stems. Now PTSD, guys, I'm not going to get into this. PTSD is just the trunk, but underneath the surface, there's many root systems that creates PTSD. It doesn't have to be a soldier, doesn't have to be, anybody can have PTSD. Anybody. So the root system is very, very broad. And a part of that root system is also this combat anxiety. Combat anxiety is, are you ready? Are you ready to face the demon when they do come? Because the demons, I'm telling you, don't care to rape children. They don't care to kill children. They don't care about women. They don't care about you. They don't care about anybody. We talk about the different types of predators. Right? There's process predators, resource predators. Process predators is that you are my objective. Good luck fighting them off. Like a suicide bomber. Okay? Suicide bomber comes in. Do you really think he or she really gives a squat? Because you are the objective. When they flew those planes into the towers, they are the hardest ones. Because they come in many shapes, many colors. Who believes in sleeper cells? Some of you all know what sleeper cells are. Okay? Guys, you don't know. It's another reason why we have a whole another program called The Threat. Because we have to look at all the different types of threats. Because they come looking like you, smelling like me. Hey. He's like, yeah. Okay? That's also part of combat anxiety. Are you ready? Survival stress reaction. Survival stress reaction is once you're in the mix. Survival stress reaction is if you don't have the confidence and you run up against something that you have not been ready for. Then you have to build real quick to make it work. That's not a position you want to be in, but it can happen. All right? We got to get that mindset. Survival stress, that is where it comes into the fact of the heart rate, then the sympathetic nervous system. Survival stress. Okay? Combat stress. A lot of these are intertwined. Okay? A lot of them are intertwined. Combat stress is boom, 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 all the time. Boom, boom, get down, blood, boom, friend, down, dead, boom, 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 boom. Guess what? That causes stress, does it not? Yeah. You're in the mix. Okay? Combat stress. And it doesn't stop after that. Combat anxiety. Please somebody read this. Go ahead and get a drink.
This is defined as the anticipation of danger, or by Webster's, an abnormal and overwhelming sense of apprehension and fear, often marked by physical signs such as tension, sweating, increased pulse rate, by doubt concerning the reality and nature of the threat.
All right, go back and read that one again, right after the rate. I want to emphasize that again.
By doubt concerning the reality and nature of the threat.
All right, stop there for a second. Again, you guys are getting trained as detailed operators, protective detail. Do you know how many people fall into this right here? What's the number one killer of security operators?
Hesitation.
Okay? Some people say it is complacency. Complacency, some say, is the number one killer of security operators. But what causes complacency? Oh, that'll never happen here. What's the chances? Guys, I've talked to the law enforcement departments. Okay? I've talked to these guys. I'm like, hey, how often do you go over your bomb incident management and rapid response teams? I know you guys have SOPs and TTPs and stuff like that. How often do you get to go over those? If you like, I'd like to get with you and we can, no, that ain't gonna happen. But they said, what? And again, they were at the airport at the time I asked this because they were using our aircraft to do bomb sweeps and searches and stuff like that. And the operator looked at me and said, when is that ever going to happen? And you know what happened a week after?
It happened.
The marathon. The bombing at Boston Marathon. A week after. I called my buddy up who was a lieutenant with the Pigeon Forge Police Department. I said, hey, tell those guys who were out there to look at their screens. It's not your job. It's not your job to sit there and dictate if or when or whatever. Your job is to be there and to minimize casualties. Or, with proper atmospherics, you might even alter it. It might not even happen at all. How about believing in that? Because you know how many people out there will say, well, there's nothing you can do. Stop spreading the poison. Yes, that's a given. There's some things, again, human factors always come into play. Let's not promote it. Let's promote what it takes to combat that. I'm tired of so many things written in blood. I'm tired of it. How many times do you have to do it to learn? Well, we men are creatures of habit. Okay? And by self-doubt about one's capacity of to cope with it. And is the start of SNS. What is that? The sympathetic nervous system. Okay, and if not regulated, guess what? The degradation of both mental and physical skills happen. Right now, we can get out here and we can do this stuff in a controlled environment. And yes, you guys will start to pick it up. You'll start to get better at it. You will. But there's a whole nother level, there's a whole nother planet that you haven't done yet. Even if you do get more and more confidence in it, you still haven't been to the point of stress inoculation. I mean, a really hard SNS dump. Okay? It's coming. As I told you guys before, storm's coming. Survival stress reactions, the physical, physiological, and the psychological changes in the body due to the initiation of this sympathetic nervous system that affect the performance of the operator. Guys, what affects the operation? What affects the operator?
What?
Survival stress reaction. You guys need to know this. Combat stress. This deals with the post-event. Post-event. Okay? Post-event effects of combat or conflict. Symptoms that result from the SNS and a sudden return to the PSN, the parasympathetic. Alright? The backlash. We can get into that a little further. But again, guys, there's a tremendous amount of information that comes with this. You guys are just, we got to skip across the top. Please, somebody inform me when an hour goes by so we can get to defensive tactics and drills.
You're at 3:30.
No, just let me know when the hour's gone. Okay? So then we'll take a break once that hour's up, and then we'll get into defensive tactics. Guys, stick with me. All right? These verbal discussions only last an hour. Okay? There's a lot of information. All right? Help me out, guys. So I take a drink of water. Someone read the top bullet.
There are A, things the operator can do to minimize the effects of the SNS and not resort to what Grossman refers to as the puppy.
Okay, so what Grossman refers to as the puppy. Don't laugh at my typos.
That's what messed me up.
You went through it like a champ, though. You didn't even hesitate. I love that. You made me look good, James. So what Grossman talks about what the puppy is, guys, when you think, when you have cognitive ability, you thinking from the forebrain, the front part of the brain, okay? What we use as the puppy is your midbrain. When everything hits the fan and your sympathetic nervous system's kicking in, you're finding yourself doubting and not performing, you're going to go to the puppy. We're going to train to where we do not go to the puppy. The puppy is the midbrain where it doesn't rationalize, it doesn't reason. Who's ever seen a puppy go through a screen door to get the food? It doesn't think, or it doesn't get through, it just knocks itself out and lays on the porch. That's the puppy. Okay? That's what a lot of people do when stressed. As discussed before, good tactics and being mentally prepared will most of the time override emotions. As I said, we've already talked about it. There are some things you can minimize the effectiveness of the sympathetic nervous system, which is what? Tactical breathing. We talked about it. Guys, you don't only have to breathe in for 4 and hold for 4 and out for 4. Everyone's different. It's also how you would also take care of anxiety. Breathe in for 6 seconds. Breathe out for 6 seconds. Breathe in for 7 seconds the next time. And then all the way up to 10 seconds. And your heart will start to lower. Okay? Next is confidence in your abilities. Next, he nailed it, experience. That's what you will get. You'll be getting some experience in here. Every time you fail, every time you get cut, every time you get shot, that's experience. Chalk it up. Let's fix the problem. And look what's next. That should be first. My bad. As I said, you guys don't pay attention to my typos. Your belief system. Your belief system should be top. Okay? I was reading Chronicles today. Good old David. And the mighty men and all that. I was reading it today in my sunroom. Guys, it's all been written out before. Tactical breathing, as I said, the 4-second count. It doesn't have to be only 4 seconds. The KISS theory, or Hicks law. You should know this one. Have you been told about Hicks law and the KISS theory?
Yes, yes.
Okay. If the operator dictates the necessary time into learning and continuation of his training or her training in certain techniques, the KISS theory does come. All right? Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple. Or it could be other choice words. Okay, so What is easy? What is simple? What is simple? Yeah, well, I mean, we have a definition of what KISS theory is. So what is your definition of simple? Let's keep it simple, right? Everyone's like, yeah, let's keep it simple. Okay, tell me what's simple. Opposite difficult. Done. Moving on.
I think it depends on your level of training.
Everyone's different.
And it's also based on your level of the person that's up against you.
Yeah.
Because you need to go a level above them.
Totality of circumstances.
Right.
Again, James, you want to go through that disarming tactic again? And then I will just go like this, and I'll turn it around and have him, and then I'll do it to him. You think it'll be different?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be different. Why? Because I've done a lot more than he has. But it's simple for me. Is it going to be simple for you?
No.
Then what the heck happened to the KISS theory?
It's just like the norm, the
What's your
normal.
norm?
Yeah, what's normal?
What's your norm? And guys,
Nothing's normal
that's why
anymore.
we're here. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. There's no way around it. There's no way around it. Repetition. Repetition. Experience, we talked about that before. All right? Any questions about experience? Again, you guys got copies of this. I expect you to read them. Okay? Your belief system. Here we go. Y'all are Christians, right?
Amen.
Out. I'm just kidding. I still remember that one joke. The guy was walking in with AKs and everything. Walk up to the pastor. Anyone in here who is not a Christian will give you a chance to leave with your life. Go now. Some people got up and left. As soon as they left, they locked the door. They put their AKs against the wall and said, okay, now we can worship. Yeah. Take that as the way you want. Your belief system. How much do you believe? How deep do you believe? Is it just something you did because your parents did it? Just something you do, it's just what we always do on Sundays. And then it's KFC time. Cracker Barrel. Yeah, we meet at the congregation, and we meet the congregation over there in the room, and all these ladies, they know how to cook. You know what I'm saying? No. What is your belief system? Is it at the root of your core? Is it what you breathe? And every day is different. Because as I said, guys, I'm going to use your faith and what we do physically. We're going to go hand in hand, because what you do in the physical realm is almost pretty much the same thing as when it comes to war as they do in the spiritual realm. Do you think God was joking when he said, put on the armor of God?
No.
Do you think he was joking when he says what the enemy knows, what he doesn't do, how he manipulates, how he actually gets in there, how he wheezes? He's a snake in the grass. Just when you think you got it together, the enemy's been around a heck of a lot longer than you. He's laughing. Okay? So please, don't be narrow-minded here. Okay? Fear of death. Who has a fear of death? Nobody? I seen a finger go up. Who has a fear of being injured?
I have more of that than death.
Here we go. Why? Because we think it's more likely to happen.
Mhm.
Okay? That's why we fear, because it's more of a chance, right? Who says?
Well, death, I'm gonna get my
Who said?
new body. If
Yeah,
I get killed,
yeah,
I ain't worried about
Yeah,
it.
but everyone raised their hand about the injury when no one raised their hand about death. Who says death can't happen as soon as you walk out the door?
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not afraid because I know where I'm going to die.
Yeah, but
Injuries is more.
Death is guaranteed.
Death is guaranteed. My dad, before he died, he said, you know what? I'm kind of scared. Mike, he called me Mike, because that's my middle name. I was like, I can understand that. He said, it's not about my salvation. I know where I'm going. It's just, this is God we're talking about. I'm about to see. like, that's what I'm scared of. I'm like, I talked to Mom before she died. She said she wasn't. Something about women, yeah? Something great how God put man with woman, and woman with man. For this incident, for this circumstance. I looked at my mom, I was like, Mom, I don't want to sound not compassionate. What is going through your head? You know, you're about to pass away, and leaving all of this, and you're not going to see the fall colors again. The Smokies, she loves the Smokies. She did. She said, hon, I'm going to someplace a lot more beautiful than this. Aren't you scared? Nope. And let me tell you something, even if she was scared, she wouldn't tell me. That's what just mamas do. That's what you're supposed to do as well when crap hits the fan and everyone else is running and screaming. We all have to have people that we have to look up to for encouragement to keep going. If they can do it, I can. And I don't know how many times I've used that analogy with my mom for myself, because I have kids too. Even when you're scared, you don't show it. You got to have that steadfastness inside your heart, inside your mind. You can't just do it on a whim. You got to do it with your friends. I mean, you got to get together with those who promote you. You got to get through the scriptures. You got to get through your prayers. You get through it through your knees. Okay? That's, how much more would you say about that? Who's a fear of killing people? Does anyone have a fear of killing people? Fear of making the incorrect decisions. Everybody should freaking put their hands up on that. Who wants to let your neighbor down? Who wants to let your other operator down? Nobody does. And the fear of failure.
I think that goes right with the incorrect decisions.
Guys, we're family. This is where we can heal right here. When we come in here and every punch we take, every draw of the weapon, everything we do, please understand what's behind it. We're not just filling a void in time just to be here together. We're not filling a void in our schedule. We're here to better ourselves at every freaking aspect. I'm going to lean on you, and you're going to lean on me. Okay? Let's keep our heads on. Keep our heads on. Cognitive abilities. Someone else read this because I'm talking a lot. Come on.
Now that we know what happens when SSR sets in, we understand the reasons why a lot of what we are taught in personal protection and tactical training tends to fly out the window when a conflict arises. As we know, survival reaction time can't fluctuate by how much the operator dedicates to the study of defensive and offensive tactics and drills, as well as combining tactical breathing and the other 4 elements of regulating the sympathetic nervous system.
All right, stop right there. At the top, it says that a lot of the operators who do tactical training and stuff like that, when a crisis happens, flies out the window. How many people have seen that? They understood. They did good in exercises. There's something totally different. And the problem is, the problem is that every situation somewhat is different. Okay?
It's the same thing with the fire department.
It's the same worldwide.
Sports is anything you do.
Worldwide. Okay? It's worldwide. Survival reaction time is the process of perceiving a threat and initiating a survival response. Okay? We also call that what? Reactionary time. Reactionary time. Survival reaction time is also our reactionary time, which also goes with the reactionary gap. Survival response time is a 4-step process. So guys, when we get together and I come at you like, whoop, this is what you're going to go through. All right, if I come at you and I do this, you already seen, I already did something. This better be, okay, he's reaching for something. Hands, hands, hands. Why do you think law enforcement and everyone in security asks to see your hands? Because that's what they're going to hit you with. That's what they're going to cut you with. That's what they're going to shoot you with. As soon as you lose sight of those hands, you better be ready to go. Okay? But this is how it works. Perception. Remember the OODA loop? All right, this is another version of it. Perception. Have to, what? Next. Analyze. All right? Do you guys see someone come into the church? Kind of, profiling is okay. I don't care what the mom and dad said. Profiling is good. But don't make your final action based on that initial profile. Okay? Perception, something wrong. You spotted the absence of the normal, presence of the abnormal. You have to analyze it. Is it a true threat? Is it? Is that really a weapon, or is that a wallet? Is that a phone? Is that whatever that is? Next, you have to what? Evaluate, formulate. Hey, eyes in the sky, you got that?
Absolutely.
You got it. Okay, am I seeing what I'm seeing? Hey, Jason, the guy in the striped shirt, is that actually what I think I'm seeing? You see what I'm saying? Now, again, how your mannerisms, and that dictates your professionalism as well. I can be walking, hey, Jason can hear me fine. Jason, you see that guy over in the corner? Hey, how you doing? Is he, you know what I'm saying? You can still mix into the scene. Is that what I think it is? That's what I'm talking about. This is all part of it. Okay? And then monitor or motion initiation. What does motor initiation mean?
Action.
Action. You getting in it. Right? All right, we're not going to go into that. We already talked about sympathetic nervous system. Parasympathetic nervous system, real quick, the symptoms of it is dizziness, excessive bleeding. Now, see what that is? I want to stop here for a second. Parasympathetic. Now, in the sympathetic nervous system, you don't get excessive bleeding, do you?
No, because they constrict.
There you go. Remember we talked about that. That's the reason why we tell you guys stay in the fight. If you're shot, it's on, stay in the fight. If you're cut, it's on, stay in the fight. Don't be like the, it got me! Well, you just told them that, hey, good job, guys. One for you. Come on. If there ever is a time for you to keep fighting, now's the time, because, hey, listen. All right, they're hurt. Let's go. Don't motivate them. All right? Stay in the fight. But look at that. Parasympathetic is after the sympathetic nervous system's gone normal. So guess what? Guess when you're going to bleed out? Now. When everything's going back to normal. Excessive bleeding. Symptoms of shock. Not just because of loss of blood a lot of times either. You can have shock without loss of blood. I don't believe that just happened. Alright? Like the old lady. Alright? Just saying. Overwhelming sense of exhaustion. A lot of times, you guys seen it, even the 9/11 pictures and footage and stuff like that, they just can't go anymore. And they sit and they brace against the wall. It's amazing how those firefighters went all those flights of stairs, yeah? So when you think you can't fight anymore, they've proven you can. You can fight. Stay in the fight. Excessive muscle tremors. That's where your shakes come in. Backlash recovery. How do we recover from the parasympathetic backlash? What does it say?
Lying horizontally, equalize the blood pressure, and ingesting fast-burning carbohydrates.
Yeah. Fast-burning carbohydrates. Is this always the no-wall treat-all?
No.
Sorry, guys, in the medical field, you're going to have to do by patient evaluations. That's what it runs off of. Every decision you make has to come off of primary and secondary patient evaluations. That's it. And even then, sometimes something comes out. The gremlins come out, and they're like, oh, shoot, I didn't see that. Okay? Hey, we already did all that stuff. Okay, so what I want to do now is I'm just going to go ahead and get to the defensive tactics and drills.
Can we back up a second?
Yes.
Okay, when you were talking about radio and the eyes in the sky, do we always need to use the radio so that everyone on the team knows if you see something? 'Cause like today, for instance, there was a guy that I thought was acting weird, and he was like 4 rows behind me, but I was sitting on the very front row, and I was afraid I would be a distraction by trying to use my radio. So I texted David and,
Okay, TTPs, I have nothing to do with yet.
okay,
Standard operating procedures, I got nothing to do with that yet. But me personally, what my advice would be, I would still use the radio, but only contact your leaders. You know,
And they have
everybody
radios.
can still stand in their positions and contact the leaders, say, hey, there's a guy behind me, or do you have access to talk to the eyes in the sky?
We talk to everybody, it's.
We're all on the same channel.
Same
We're all-
channel.
It's all the same channel.
Okay, so you guys gotta we can come up with something in the standard operating procedure for making things short and sweet to the point. Okay? Did you have, with the guy who was behind you, do you have a description? Did you remember what he was wearing or anything else? And, the leaders, I don't know. Okay?
Texted
Jane,
David, and he contacted us, and then we.
that was a great, that was a great move.
I had the same thing at 9 o'clock. I had a guy behind me that carried a backpack in. I went through Brett Harville. He got a hold of Rodney. We confirmed who he was.
Yeah.
And there's
But-
just like
That-
flat communication sometimes.
Now, that's something, again, I have no control. What you did was, I think, a great move. You texted. Why? How many people, when during worship, actually looks at their phones? A lot of people. So you did not become out of the norm.
right.
That's what your whole goal is as security operators. Unless you want to be high profile. Well, I want you guys to be as low profile as possible, where the adversary can't tell you a difference from anyone else. That's what we're aiming for, is low profile operations. Okay? What you did was spot on. Okay? I would at least let me personally, if you text the leader. Text somebody who has the command of whatever the operations
Well,
doing.
Brian and Jason don't always notice, like, Brian sometimes doesn't even have service in the building,
Mhm.
but I know David's sitting right there in front of the camera, so I just texted and said, hey, can you get eyes on this guy? And I described what he was wearing and exactly where he was sitting.
That would be something that we would all have to sit down and discuss. You guys, as the leaders of the
That's a
security
big call
detail,
because
you have to have a roundtable. You have to get all the security operators together as a table meeting, or again, a rapid response team, and have this type of issue would be brought up during the roundtable meeting. You gotta be like, okay, this is what we have to do. Because again, I'm sorry to say, we can have a foundational launching platform for proper communications and things like that, verbal as well as nonverbal communications. But a lot of things also have to be refined as the operations go on. Okay, because we're not gonna be able to sit and dictate every option or every possibility of what's gonna happen. So when stuff like this happens, these questions they're pertinent, they have to be brought to the round table, and they have to be looked on how can we actually implement this a little better. Even if it comes into different radio frequencies, if it comes to, when one detail leaves, another detail comes in, who is the agent in command? Who's the agent in command?
a lot of times my phone's, the ringer's turned off, so, that way I'm not being a distraction if it goes off in the middle of service.
Yeah,
And with the noise levels, you can't hear it,
Yeah.
or you may not feel it.
yeah.
But David's in a controlled sound environment, and he could have his ringer on.
And then he could be the central command post. If there's no way of communicating amongst the people on the floor, he's the eye in the sky. He's the acting God, if we say, the all-seeing eye. And if you contact the all-seeing eye, he should be able to take the initiative and contact those who are close proximity by radio frequency, where it's not all cluttered up. You guys' frequency is not always cluttered, right? Use of force. Force control. Force continuums are based on two theories. Total control theory, or 1+1 theory, which we talked about. Right? So we're going to look at 1+1 theory. Theory is based upon the concept of responding to resistance with proportional use of force. It also puts more emphasis on the use of empty hand control tactics and techniques like that to control a lower level of resistance, which means that the operator can use a level of force, one level of force, higher than the level of resistance being used. Okay? Here's force continuums. Your presence. After you show up on the scene, ma'am, can I help you? Sir, can I help you with anything? Right there. You know, you guys can look at this and correct some of this for me before I get up here.
Well, I went through the whole thing, but we went back to your old one.
I appreciate you. Officer's presence, you also will entice or start that psychological intimidation. Okay? That can be an intimidation. You're judging me, or, you know, even if they're doing something wrong, this guy over 20-something years.
Well, that first level, I think, is the car. It's not really.
That's exactly right.
Not me getting out.
That's right.
I mean, the car does.
Well, that's still your presence. The
Right.
officer's
but
presence,
I
yes.
think it does most of the job, really, most of the time.
As soon as the lights come on, you know, we've all been there, getting pulled over. Well, like, ah! But as soon as that happens, though, what happens? Psychological intimidation. Oh boy, is this guy going to be a prick, or is he going to be a cool guy? You know, you never know. Huh?
Because it's been in both situations.
Next is verbal direction. Then verbal noncompliance. That's what they're going to have. All right? Excuse me, sir. Come here for a second. No, okay. Remember verbal judo, guys. All this plays in. Okay? All this plays in. Then after that, you have soft hands. Oh boy. Soft hands. Buttercream. No. No, ma'am. Come on, if you wouldn't mind. Don't touch me! Ah! Guess what? What's next?
Hands up.
Passive resistance. After passive resistance, well, then you can go to hard hands. Then they're going to be what? Defensive. All right, here we go. We're eating the scrap. What's the intermediate weapons? Intermediate weapons can also be chemical, tase, whatever. Yep, on. Active aggressive. You just sprayed me. Ah, here comes the grizzly. Guess what? They might pull something. Deadly force is right there. Okay? Deadly force assault. Does it always happen in this? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. That's why we have this. See the red? That's lethal force. Alright? Look what all is touching the red. See everything touching the red? Officer's presence. Is that touching the red?
Yep.
Yes, it is, because it can go from his presence straight to a firefight. Straight to a firefight. Alright? What's the green here? Communication. Is communication touching lethal force? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Hard physical control, as well as soft. Is that touching? Yes. Everything is touching it. Intermediate weapons is touching it. It's amazing how everything is touching that. And the reason why we had to go to this is because so many people were holding these individuals to that stepping process. Well, did you do this? What about this? You just totally went from this to this. It's not the way what do you call it? TTPs. You know, no. That's what they were doing to these individuals. Not taking one chance to do a ride along. I know. Not one time do they go on a ride along to get the proper perspective on what they're talking about and who they're even trying to defend. Yeah, it's a little jacked up. But at least we're getting to this. Getting to something. Lighter to dark, cooperative, all the way around to serious bodily harm and death. Okay? It's a rheostat, people. I want you guys to get used to a rheostat. Even when you're here, when we start doing stress inoculation drills and stuff like that, I want you to be a rheostat. Where a rheostat is you apply the certain resistance or not based on totality of circumstances. Or you can go straight from that rheostat to punching it straight in, the light comes on. The switch is still integrated in our training. Switch on, switch off. But work the rheostat. Know when to, know when not. Okay? Alright, so let me get down to Guys, please remember this. Remember that when we're getting into defensive tactics and drills. Okay? Sometimes you will not use a combat compass because you got to understand the body dynamics of movement before you actually start to actually step off the X. You got to understand how to incorporate your blocks and strikes and everything else before you move. Remember your conflict zones. This is something that you will look at a little more in depth. Okay? As you can see, my X, that inside position, is not where you want to be. Okay? Get up for a second. So if we're sitting here talking, this is not where you, there you go. He purposely, by using his combat compass, am I straight in front of him now? No. No. He has put me into the what? Interview positions. All right? If you stand straight on somebody like this, why did we stay squared? Because we have ability and access to get to each weapon on each side of our body. We're pretty quick, right? That's the whole reason why when you interview somebody, you don't stand right in front of them, because they have that ability as well. Okay? So if you stand off a little bit, his strong side's what? Strong side's back, and he's still there. He can still talk to me. I can even square my shoulders up to him if I want. This one should be, okay, if you don't want to be completely square, drop that shoulder back just a tad bit. Don't put it too far back like you're wanting to fight, but have it drop back a little bit so this forward hand can be the forward hand, and this back hand can be the back hand. Because when you go to shoot, you'll learn how to raise these shoulders forward. Okay? This is the position you want to be in, is the interview position. Remember that. Not our interview positions, but the interview of actually communicating with people position. This is a better position for you. Okay? Do not have them straight in front of you. Alright? We'll get into that. Oh yeah, I gotta go through all the gun fun stuff. Come on. You can do it. Oh. Yeah. Oh, this is coming, guys. Yeah. Good times are coming. Edge weapons. Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's an embalmer's nightmare.
Very true.
Yeah. Here we go. All right. Defensive tactics and drills. I have no idea what I was typing there.
Upon.
Thank you.
I thought it said puppy.
All right, guys, this is what we need to be thinking about when we get out here. Start moving. Guys, remember it. Combat compass. Remember what? This is our basics. These are our basics. All right, basic human anatomy, the weapons of the human anatomy. That will use against you and you will use against them. Remember your 9 angles of attack. That dot is number 9. That dot is number 9. 9 is straight in. Oh yeah, wait a minute. 4-point impact planes. Remember them. All right, so now what we're going to do is get up pretty soon. Once we get a break, we have a lot to go through. As you can see, all of these are all attacks that are coming. Oh, by the way, there's your medic training.
I can't see it.
Oh, look at that.
You don't need it, you know it.
I can't see from back here.
There's still more. These are just the title pages.
How about just stop the bleed? Isn't that what a thumb's for?
Tampons.
Yeah.
Done.
Really? That and
All right, so let's take a break real quick. And guys, find your partner that you want to work with, and we're going to get to working.
Like a church.
Oh! Man, that would hurt so bad. Right, he got it right in the clavicle notch.
Man, we're not supposed to look.
Yeah, that was good stuff. Yeah.
he come around hard.
Yeah. Oh, man, you have a a low center, and you are wide like a Mack truck. Just that, pop, wham, boom, hit them around, pop.
That you,
Oh. But would you have done that if we went fast? Would you have seen that?
No.
No, that's why we have to go fast, guys, during the fist attacks. Yeah. Yeah.
Through.
Yeah.
Obviously.
All right, let's go. Guys, whenever you're ready. Attempts. That means they have not made contact. Yeah? So here I am. If I come up, I'm gonna, now me as the aggressor, people, you have to work with your partner. Meaning that I will stop. I will not make contact with his head. I don't want to do that. I want to stop and give this individual an opportunity to think of what, through his limitations and his capabilities, what can he come up with to the path of success? Which success is me being on the ground, incapacitated. You create your own. Allow the individual to. Now, where's my hand? It's up. Guys, keep, even if you're just doing stuff, keep it in your workspace. This is teaching you good skills. Okay? I will stop and I will let Jason think of what he wants to do. All right? He will stop there. All right, good. Now, work on your mechanics. Mechanical efficiencies. He comes in and clinches. I want to do the exact same thing he did, but what I want you guys to do is to raise the shoulder. Why do we raise the shoulder?
block the neck and the head.
Yes, you're protecting all of this. The side of the neck and anything else. Because if I do miss and he goes and clinches, uh-oh, look, he ain't grabbing my neck, is he? Grab. But guess what I have? Clock. There goes his elbow. Keep the shoulder up because it's a part of protection. It's a part of protection. He comes in to clinch, do the same thing as he does, but he was also one to punch to the throat, right? What would be easier, to get a fist in there or to get maybe just your knuckles?
Blanket knuckles.
Okay? Help each other. Efficiency of movement. What will most likely end up for success? Remember, hard weapons go to soft targets. Soft weapons go to hard targets. So even if he does that again, okay, Jason, next time let's try this and maybe this. Remember that triangle, sternomastoid muscle right here. Sternomastoid muscle, jawline, esophagus, or trach, right? There's that triangle. Guess where my fingers went? You can just do that lightly. Yeah, he doesn't want me to do it again. Just do it lightly. But guys, you please understand, so that's what we'll work on here and here. Now watch. What did I do with the arm?
Grab it.
Grabbed it. Why did I grab it?
Where you can control it.
You control him. Seize and control. Because if I didn't and I just hit him, now he's moving back. And in your church congregation, there's a lot of people. And so you want to keep the conflict and crisis contained. That's what we're doing. That's what I want you guys to do together. Work with each other. Hey, I see where you're going with this. Let's try this. Try that. That's just what we did. Initially, I went to grab him. He just did a block, and he did a fist. Right? Well, let's raise the shoulder up. Let's get that up. And there you go. And then after that, after you stop that, you can grab, yeah, straight in with the fingers. Let me see your fingers. Get your thumb in there. And you're dislodging the trach, is what you're doing. Guys, we couldn't just come up with that if I went, you're just going to just, you know?
Well, totality of circumstances say
That's exactly it. Let me analyze this for a second. No. Okay, so guys, work together. You guys are warrior scientists now. This is warrior science. Let's make it effective and efficient. Watch each other's limitations. Watch each other's capabilities. Work with each other. Iron sharpens iron starts now. Let's go. Yeah, which is ours, but ours starts at 1, 2, 3, 4. That's ours. That makes it kind of difficult when you go from one system to another. I understand. I understand.
Not messed up. Yeah, but I'm overthinking it again. So, boom.
I'm behind you, I'm behind you. I'm around you.
Sorry, I was a complication. I mean, NRDs, stick by the we had 21
You heard me straight. I'm gonna admit that. Usually that's where my hammer is. But the haymaker, where he knows anything like that, there you go. Oh yeah, that one. That's with the ribs. Oh yeah. That's I mean, in the ribs, it's terrible. So good. Yeah, even close, usually I'll throw like a knee or elbow. And then I'm trying to miss. Oh yeah. It's some great arms, everything gets in its way. Best thing ever. Oh yeah, big sweet.
Do it together. Like, take it. Here. Pop. After this, you need to start with the back. That's what this is for. Then you're going to hook. See this? That's all I'm doing to hook you. Come back. Pop. Then step back. Boom, down. And then from here, you can do whatever you want. Because if you stomp here, if you stomp that, they're not getting up. Stomp to the ground. Boom. Yeah. That could be your finishing touch. As you guys take him down, stomp the Achilles, he doesn't get up. Step by step. Keep it linear. Keep it tight. Square up.
That's a really great.
Oh, yeah? Yeah. Okay. What do you do when okay. These are your basic weapons, right? Your shoulder, your head. That's another reason why. As you rotate it, you're going to pinch it.
That's why I'm like holding on to this side.
Okay? Roll and pinch, so now you seize with your chin, your shoulder, your hand. Now you're going to come back up. As you come back up, you're going to break back down. Like a snake across the limb of a tree. Okay? But you've got to rotate that up. A lot of times it's even good for a grab. If someone grabs you, like you could grab my shirt. Yeah, you can rotate them here and just drop them, just like here. Just this. You don't even need that.
We're not working. We do.
Okay? So yeah, if you can, try to look at it at the combat compass. If he grabs your shoulder or something, step in if you want. Come on. If you're stepping in, rotate, God, and take her down. Now I'm trying. One bad thing about your father is that he stiffens up all the time. And I'm just like, I'm gonna, I'm coming. I'm going slow for a reason. But if you go fast, it doesn't give them a chance.
Don't hurt you, don't hurt you.
But always remember, preparatory action. Okay?
Yeah, we worked on those.
Flick his eye. Ah! After that, you got him. Bam!
Inverted.
You got it. Boop. All right, come on. All right?
Yeah. So, there's all kinds of.
Look at you guys over there. That's pretty good. He's blocking. That's good. That's good.
You come across you've already, because you was headed that way. You go. A lot of areas that
This elbow needs to be above
do the same way. I mean, because I was like,
with this one, you don't let go of that. This,
we hit it a lot. Right, depends on, they let it look humans. I'm more like you said, he could just do the wrist.
All right, guys, stop for a second. Mentality to it. Okay? I gave you a chance and opportunity to focus on one attack. But a lot of times, guys, when people come in and grab you, they're going to want to do this. That's what they're going to want to do. That's why they're pinning you. That's why they're getting that in the clinch, that one clinch. That's what they want. Okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to slow this down. We have a force multiplier. I'll get a few more. Okay? We're going to stop, and this is where we're stopping right here. You guys know who are attacking. This is as far as you go. This is as far as you're going to go. Because you know what this is also teaching you is our edge weapons training, right? If we do one, the blade comes back. This is something I didn't show you guys too much. This is from the MAP system, which is the Marine Corps Martial Art Program. They fight like this. Their blades are always at their hip bone. Because if someone comes in to grab them, they can easily come in. Yeah, it's already doing its job. Okay? When you slice the one, it comes to the other hip bone, and it still points and orientates where?
Toward the phone.
Toward the adversary. So if we're here, we're still here. That's one. Two is here, and it's still here. Okay? That's another reason why I had you guys stop here. Because I'm teaching you, getting you ready to do edge weapons training. There's something coming. There's a reason why I tell you guys everything. There's another step coming. So we're going to stop here and let them think of what they would do. Yeah. Oh!
He likes it move. I've noticed that.
Yeah, that would work. But guys, something about that. The law sucks. Because I still have possession of the weapon, so that was a good thing. Okay? He uses gravity and physics to help, he helped me with my own demise. That's what he did. Exactly. But please understand something. If something happened to where, go ahead and grab, whatever, just, if something happens to where I'm here and I eye gouge him, right? I eye gouge him, I come this way, listen, I'm not getting cut here. These are called blade takeaways. And I come in and I take it away, and I come back and I'm doing this number. Guess who's going to jail?
You are.
Me.
Good to weapon.
I'll be glad to go.
I'm going to jail. Why? Because I became the aggressor. I became the aggressor. You had control. Right after, you know what? I can teach you all this stuff, and I will, but you have to be smart enough to not put yourself into jeopardy to where you do spend the rest of your life in jail, not seeing your loved ones anymore, nothing. He grabs me again. I'm already here. Once my thumb gets all the way into his socket, that's excruciating pain. And once I've gotten this, I can push him back. I no longer have to attack him, but I will keep this weapon system in case you don't know if he has buddies.
What if he's got a gun on him too?
You know what? Okay, what all that stuff. Boom,
What happens
there
if
he is.
comes back at you?
Then guess what?
Now you can.
Yes, take him out. Take him out.
Then
Wait.
it's out.
Yes, because he's still an aggressor.
You're defending yourself.
Okay, you can talk in the court of law. Now, if he comes back after my thumb's this deep into his skull, he's a man. He is something. He's a freaking grizzly bear. But guys, you know what? PCP happens. You never know. Okay? Boom. Once he goes back, sir, or guess what? Get out of Dodge. Run if you can. If you have to stay because of what you do here, boom. Once he goes back, you know what? Take him down if you want. Take him down if you want. Whatever it takes to subdue him. Do you understand?
Yes.
I mean, I got a question for Joey. Are we allowed to restrain them once we get them on the ground? Or does it have to be law enforcement to restrain them?
You can,
No,
you can restrain.
I meant,
Yes.
something, okay.
Yeah, we'll restrain somebody else that's MPD, or if you have to call them, that we have somebody there.
Get some zip ties.
Who's been arrested.
I didn't know how that.
Yes, you allow.
Play out.
I know that answer too, because again, I also train law enforcement and everything else. Guys, if the law enforcement are not on the premises, you guys are security operators, especially when it comes to deadly force. You know what? They'll probably praise you because you didn't shoot the dude. Because by legal, if he comes and he tries to grab my neck, by legal terms, I could do this. Remember our number 2 position? Boom, 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 boom. Guess what? That's what I could have done. That's what I could have done.
But you did, because you was nice.
No, it's not only that, it's totality. Sometimes you can't get to your weapon system. Because sometimes, guys, pulling your weapon system is the worst thing you could do. Because, guys, I don't want you guys to keep constantly going to this. I know it's attractive. I know it's John Wick, baby. Let me check this out. Brass. Yeah. No. Because if I pull this out, right, and then he deflects it, and all of a sudden I drop it, or we're scrumbling and something like that, and oh shoot. Now what?
There's
You
another
shot 12
weapon.
people behind you.
Now what?
gave him another
yeah,
weapon.
it gives him a chance to go for that weapon, or if somebody else can go for that weapon. All right, it's best to leave it inside your holster if you have a retention device or whatever. And guys, that's why we're here. Is to look at all the different avenues of what you have, and not put all your eggs in one basket. That's what we're doing.
But let's just say, it's just anybody in a church.
Anybody,
If
that's
you-
right.
If you restrain somebody, you're good.
Yep.
Especially if they're trying to kill or hurt other people.
Now, you cannot detain them if they're not being violent. If they're being belligerent and stuff like that, sir, no, let's go out here, let's try to, you know what? You got to do the best you can to try to de-escalate by verbal judo. But if you try to detain them just because of their verbs, oh, no. That's assault to them now. That's assault to them.
But as we're trying to escort them out, what if they don't believe?
You have to do the best you can. Get multiple power in
Numbers.
Remember, we did this scenario when I had that. No, I want to get my kid. No, and then
Yeah,
somebody stepped up. Oh, what? You got two of you guys? Then someone else stepped up. I was like, all right, I'll go get it.
No, I mean just in the case like in the lobby. So
Yeah.
the lobby being belligerent, causing a scene.
I see what I'm doing. I'm still talking to him as I'm deflecting him and still controlling. By this time, Lord willing, somebody is going to be over there as well. They see, because he's being belligerent. Now, okay, now another one comes, and guess what? Now we're going to get a little more. Remember the force continuum? Here we go.
where did I say I'm gonna come do?
Yeah.
And this is where a lot of ground control tactics are going to come into play. This is where a lot of ground control tactics will come into play. Because let me tell you something, some people won't just haul up and hit you. Because they're going to be pushing you and what? They want to be Brody and all that. Guys, get your hands back in your workspace. Deflect them, get them back in. Sir, I need to come. Sir, listen. Look at where my hand is. If I wanted to, is a palm smash right there. Okay? So when he starts to push you really hard and he's trying to take control,
But does that give us the okay once they touch us?
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
If you get shoved,
Yes.
that's assault.
And look, I'm still talking with him.
Hey, buddy, come on.
I'm still talking with him. And that's something for everyone else who's witnesses. No, he was a raging bull. He was still talking to him. Calm down, calm down. That's what you have to do. By that time, other security officers should be coming over. And they should be doing the same thing, coaching him as he's getting beat. I said, stop resisting, stop. Boom, 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 boom. Drop those in. Boom, boom. Whatever it takes, drag him out. Sir, we try to do this polite. We try to do this the nice way. We try to let's stop moving. That's the 1 + 1 theory. Because when he comes in, like he was doing, sir, can we leave here? Oh, no, sir, please come on. Now he's trying to do the 1 + 1. Right there, he's trying to take control. You have to meet him now and whoop. Okay? So even you can go ahead and do it again. So, pop! Pop! And then all of a sudden here. Okay? Sir, I told you, please. All right? Chicken wing. So again, all this stuff's coming. So
Joey's gonna go to work tomorrow, beat up Hollis.
He's gonna beat up the kids.
Oh, wait a minute, are they virtual tomorrow?
So what time we got? I don't know the time.
4:47.
All right, so guys, force multipliers. Let them think. What would you do? Okay? This is not forward movement. If he comes up to clinch, this is where he stops. He's not going to do forward movement here. You're going to beat him to the punch. Okay? That's another thing. Think about this when you're doing it. All right, let's turn around so everyone can see. Think about once you've deflected here, pinning. Did I go for the blade or did I go for his hand? Hand. Pin it. Okay? Pop that eardrum. All right? Grab that. Guys, this is not. If you're fighting fairy, your tactics suck.
Yep.
Amen.
If you're fighting fairy, your tactics suck. Get that. Get that through your head. When we're here, okay, now what do I have? He already has a clinch. I already failed. It was supposed to be an attempt to clinch. He wasn't even supposed to get that far. There. I'm already here. So I can easily deflect. Look how tight I am here. I just walked away. Look how tight. Where are my shoulders?
Squared up.
Here we are again. Here we are again. The reason why I was so tight is because his force is forcing me in, which is kind of controlling my workspace, which is fine. I got plenty. If I use what? Articulate your shoulders. All right? Articulate the shoulders. You'll be surprised how small little shucks can do a world of hurt. Just in this little space. Small little shucks can interrupt his thinking process. Okay? Let's go. Let's make it work. Think. Blossom, guys. The Marine Corps martial art program, this is the way they stand. And I want you guys, that's the reason why we're attacking this way, is because you also are learning to wield the knife where it's supposed to be. As our 4-count draw is supposed to be tight. Okay? So we're trying to build neurological pathways at this point. Okay? So keep it tight and stop right here. Okay? We will be doing a lot more. This is just the basic. We will be starting to go on going crazy. We got to do baby steps. Thanks, James.
So I'm initiating clinch.
Yeah, well, you're going to attempt to clinch. Yes. Good. Nice. Go for that hand, absolutely. Absolutely. Drop your center too, brother. Lower your base.
Okay. See, I'm low.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Power in the hips. Good. This shoulder can even come up too, to tell you the truth. A lot of people think that when their shoulders come up, everything has to come up. Well, guess what? I can still do all this stuff while my shoulders are up here. I can still lower my center if my shoulders are. This has nothing to do with how these can operate, guys. I know that looks stupid, but guys, I'm serious. A lot of people just like, no. You can still be loose. Watch UFC. They're always here. They're always here because they know they want to protect your jaw and that neck. Okay? It's just, that's why we have to go slow in little increments.
I'm going slow.
Always grab that knife. You can't get away now.
come in. And if you have, if you stop it there, it's down there.
Yes.
In perfect world, you'll catch it every time, you're probably not.
Because that he's using the structure here.
Boom.
I think it's good.
If I catch you here, that's what I'm talking about. Go ahead and please, I can pull you down and control it there too.
Hey, don't hurt me, James. Amen.
You work.
And the Heavenly Father.
Even if I have you here, you still, this is the main thing you're trying to say.
No, yeah.
You got your hand? I was trying to claim.
No, I know. I saw how you dropped the posture. Yeah.
Even if he catches the rest here, how he can still. Absolutely right. Because it's going to stop. The hand naturally stops at that point.
Guys, listen. We can be nasty. Okay, go ahead. We can be nasty. Go ahead and stop it. Go ahead and stop it. Because I always used to do this too. And everyone's trying to grab me. Ah, okay, you want to do that? Because you know what? Because that's just me. We can always do something. You're right on. Don't let that happen, and don't let that happen. So now, this is where he needs to watch his stance, widen your stance, lower your center. All right, now lean into me. I'm leaning in. There you go. See how I started to step back? Right. That's where it is. All right, so now we got to go somewhere from there. You got the base, you got all that stuff. Now you got to come up with these 3 attacks.
Mine out was a ball.
This guy is the perfect guy to be with. Don't let him grasp. Don't let him clinch.
Here, you can attack me.
Okay, all right. Don't let him clinch.
From here, I've got the knife already. I've got your head here. This is the perfect spot for head. You know what I'm saying? I've got, you're going to take all the momentum of it. When I headbutt you,
Oh, yeah. Yes.
We're fixing the
when you throw a headbutt,
He's
you
gonna throw
don't
that
want to
headbutt. I love
just
it.
boom here.
That's it.
It's kind of a, you know what I'm saying? You come in and you turn it. That's what I've always done. And you can do this if you want to. You're here, boom. So you boom. Now, when I headbutt you, I can probably get 2 or 3 of them, you know, before you can even react. You know.
Well, actually, I didn't.
Edit that out.
Guys, that is good. I'm looking.
Slide the hand down. Now we're here. You see how I am with you? Yeah. You're straight up. You need to widen your base. See how my legs are?
I need to grab you. I need to grab the arm.
That's fine too. You need to widen your base. You, because I can. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there you go. Now, you've already got me here. So you can start working. You got this. We're here. You got to be quick. Now, I'm right here. You know, I'm fighting this off. You need to be fun to start. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't control this arm here, don't go to the back of my head. Don't worry about tracking.
Then you can grab it.
Yes. See where we're at now?
Yeah.
I've got your head. At the same time, you've got mine. Now you just got to be quick before I can start. Because I'm focused on the knife. I've got the knife. That's all I'm thinking. I've got this knife. You're thinking, I've got to stop this. So when you're here, go ahead. Because I can hold your head here. I can control you this way, but I can't control your head coming at me. See what I'm saying? Because I don't have another arm here to stop me.
Would it be a bad idea, like, I got you like this and then off?
That's fine too.
You see what I'm saying? That's only I think. Strong enough to stand.
Boom.
Good, there it
The
is.
main thing, if you're trying to do that, is to get this arm to the outside.
See,
Don't
her
let
whole
me
body was like,
clench you.
well, before she was
right there.
easily,
Now,
she was easily.
Because that works, and yeah.
You've got that base, there it is, and then grab that. Then you can take control of that. She's not gonna be, yeah. Now, right there, never turn her back unless you want to take him down.
Your forehead, see how I'm low? You're like,
She take him down.
just,
So,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
It's there for you to go ahead. And probably not, yeah, it's gonna stun you.
Yeah.
And when my head goes back,
Okay, see how she's over?
like I said, don't do it just one time.
Yeah.
You're not, it's not just one time.
With that head going back, at least I'll let
That's what I'm saying. You're gonna catch that nose, and you hit him 3 times the head. The nose, his eyes will water up. You won't be able to see anything. You got the knife, but then he can't even see what's going on. You can start doing stuff with the knife.
Now, okay. I got it. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's kind of the process. All he's got is this right here. You're gonna have everything else besides this.
Yeah.
And if you come, I'm just saying, somebody crazy, they come back, actually, you got your gun, you got right.
That's it too. I mean, if you got your gun, your head butt him in the nose, he can able to see what's going on. When you draw that gun, he gonna see it come out.
Yeah.
Fucking shot it.
Right,
You know, this ain't gonna matter anyway.
yeah.
Probably gonna go.
You water his eyes up. It's a bad 30 seconds.
So much for the after action review.
having fun.
All right, I was actually going to go into disarming, but no, we ran out of time. Sorry, guys. After action review. After action review is if you guys have questions, comments, give us ideas of how we can make things better, more streamlined. Do you want me to bring in my assistant instructors? I mean, I know I have some of them who want to come in and help. I got to, of course, have to get that scheduled with them. These guys are masters in Ishinru. These guys are masters in Kali. These guys are counter-terrorist operatives, tier 1. I mean, this is Delta, Dead Group level guys. They said that they'd be glad to come in and assist me. But this is what after action review is all about. After action review is what do you think? You guys help me out with your inputs. There's some things we can't change because we have to only allow time to allow that to change. Okay? There is a tremendous amount, as you guys saw, still coming. But we have to anchor down to those basics. You got to get it to where I can walk up to you and tell me what the 9 angles of attack are and then demonstrate them. Demonstrating means you can have a knife and demonstrate. But I don't want this. Okay? I want that to start to be streamlined. I want streamlined to where now you're here. And you're out and you're in. Out and in. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Watch that dead hand. That dead hand is what? It's floating. It's constantly going too. Because guys, guess what's going to happen later on? That knife is going to go from this hand to this hand. You're going to have to get your fine and complex motor skills calibrated in. If one goes down, you've got to have a backup. Just like in Illuminates at nighttime, right? 1 is none. 2 is 1. Right? 1 is none. 2 is 1. And that's how we are training in the security operation. Is that this is 1, well 1 is none. Because if it goes down and you're not good with this, what good are you?
You got none.
That's right. 1 is none. 2 is 1. Okay? So after action review, any questions? You guys enjoying the way this is flowing?
Yes. You're doing good.
You guys enjoying it?
Yes.
Okay. And I want all you guys to shake your head. If there's anything that you guys don't like, bring it to the team. We'll do the best we can to streamline it. I understand, guys, a lot of us are wanting to bust loose. I know. Believe me. How hard do you think it is for me? I've been doing this almost my whole life. Okay? Going back to beginning, it's hard for me. I want to just go, okay, guys, next. And if you can't, I don't want to build you on a shifty foundation. I want you to be on a firm foundation of knowledge. Yes, surprise wins the fight. Don't get me wrong. Because I'm sure you've done some dynamic room entries and stuff like that in practice. So it is surprise, speed, and violence of action. It wasn't violence of action first, was it?
No.
No. It's surprise. What the? Speed. Bah, 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 bah. Then the violence of action is there. Okay? That's where we have to work. Soft wire. What is soft wire?
Building the neuro.
This is soft wire. But every mechanics of that was accurate if I was doing this 100 miles an hour. But it's slow. Of course it's slow. Because after a while, then it actually becomes, You don't think about it. It is already out there before you know it. Okay? Repetition. So please, the stuff we give you, study it. Practice it. Okay? Know the environment you're in, and just do it.